Alejandro Garnacho is one of the worst wingers I've ever seen.
Football is live. Welcome, everyone. We are back after a 1-week hiatus. I am Nat and Matt, one of your co-hosts here at Football is Life, alongside Matt Powell.
Hello.
Nashville. How we doing, Matt?
Great. Calling in from sunny Nashville.
And we got our third co-host, Ethan Cooney.
Hello, how's it going? Boston's a little sunny. Yeah, it's a little sunny. I had to check the. Yeah.
Very cloudy.
There's a skylight. I actually have it.
Okay.
I have a skylight in my room.
That's nice.
Yeah. Very cloudy here.
This apartment doesn't really have windows, but it does have the skylight.
It's been very nice, but it's very cloudy today. We're going to get right into stuff. We got a lot to get to in the last 2 weeks. So we're going to get to all of it. We're going to also try to keep things moving. We have been told we got to keep the show going, try to keep it closer to an hour. We see your emails. We listen. So we're going to make sure that I don't rant about the Sounders too long, that Ethan doesn't rant too long about NYCFC too long. Matt never really rants about Nashville, so he's probably good.
So our listeners just want us to be more like Matt.
I think
that's what everyone wants. The world would be better if everyone was like Matt.
All right, Matt can do the show by himself then.
I'm glad. All
right.
But I don't want to do the show by myself.
All right, Ethan, if you went off there, that would have completed the bit. But we're too past that. We got to get in there. We're losing time.
What you were doing. I thought you were having a technological issue.
Nope. Come on, get in the time. Understand. Yes, and
I didn't taste the soup on that one.
All right. This is episode 135. I'm not sure if we said that yet, but it's 135. Glad to be back, and let's get right into the soccer news with some shocking news that came out yesterday. Steve Cherundolo is stepping down from the LAFC coaching position at the end of the season. Says he loves LAFC, but it is time that his family goes to Germany. And he says this in kind of a really odd way. Germany's nice. It doesn't seem like he's saying that he's going to go coach immediately. He's just we're going to go live in Germany. I've been to Germany. It's nice. Matt, have any advice for Steve in Germany, or what are your thoughts on him stepping down?
I've never been to Germany, so I can't speak to the advice portion. But he's from Germany, so I'm sure he's got it. You know what I mean? I think he's got that section covered. Stepping down from LAFC, that was really interesting. I think that once you are removed from the A tier of jobs in football, the Barcelona, Real Madrid, Spain, France, PSG, like once you are outside of those, like, I don't know what they are. There's probably like 20 jobs that are really, really, really coveted. The LAFC job is like one, like next up, like it's You're coaching in a league that is rising and getting better every year. You're in the city of Los Angeles. You have a really, really spirited fan base, a really cool stadium. And if that isn't what he wants to do, that's not what he wants to do. And, if his mind is made up, then it would be a detriment to him and the team to coach the team. But yeah, that's a good job. That's a good job that's going to attract a good coach when he's gone. And he was a good coach. We talked about how much he whined, but but regardless of that, he was a good coach. I am excited to see what LAFC could look like with a hopefully more like possession-oriented coach, because it's the sit deep and counter is very effective for them. But I would love to see what they would try to do with more of the ball.
Ethan, how do you think that the team mentality changes when you learn that your coach is leaving at the end of the year, no matter what? How do you expect the team to react? Do you think they already knew?
It depends. They might have known. I think one of two things could happen, being that the team could sort of lose urgency and motivation and think oh, okay, this is just going to be a bit of an off year. We'll get our real coach next year. Or they could really rally behind Cherundolo and think, this is his last season. He's won trophy for the club. He's like an LAFC legend. We're going to do our best to rally behind him and give him the best send-off we can give him. I feel like those are the two things that can happen, and only one of them will happen. Which one will happen that's for them to show us.
Yeah. Okay, so how fast do we think they're going to start looking for a new coach? And do we think that we're going to start hearing? We're going to start hearing rumors very soon.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't already have a couple conversations going. Announcing your departure at the end of the season in this fashion, to me, it kind of reads like, I know that my time is up. They were probably gonna fire me after this season, no matter what, and move on, because he's been the coach for years now. It was time to move on for both parties. So I would be very surprised if LAFC didn't already have a couple folks that they were talking to, especially
also they announced this.
Jim Curtin.
They announced this a week after they get knocked out of the Concacaf Champions Cup.
Right. Yeah.
And they're already out of the. I guess their second team is already out of the U.S. Open Cup. Do we think they go MLS coach, or can they get a bigger name? Do you think Jim Curtin is? How likely do we think Jim Curtin is? Or actually, we asked that. Who's more likely, Jim Curtin or Pep Guardiola?
Oh, Jim Curtin. I don't think
that's ridiculous.
Pep Guardiola.
Okay,
I don't think he's
Jim
an LA
Curtin
man.
Or I guess no, it can't be Jurgen Klopp.
Pep Guardiola, he loves New York. What can I say? I think if Pep Guardiola coaches an LA or an MLS team, it's going to be NYCFC. Him and De Bruyne are going to come.
He has a lot of issues with
open the stadium.
That ownership group.
Yes, but Pep has been in NYC. I think there's kind of a very notorious story of him reffing. He had to step in to referee a children's soccer game one time, and all the parents hated him as a referee and were chewing his ear off about some calls he made and things like that.
That's awesome.
So he's used to the city. He loves the city.
So just Guardiola,
New York Red Bulls Renaissance.
I will grow my hair out in protest if that happens.
No love for your current coach, Ethan.
No, I'm a fan of Pascal Janssen. Look,
but
NYCFC.
If Pep is there,
let's think about it. If
he wins all the trophies, if if Pascal Janssen, let's just say if he won 5 trophies,
well, look, here's the truth. If Pascal Janssen it becomes like the most successful coach in MLS history, he's going to be gone in 2 years anyway. He'll be going to Europe, which he already has some success in. So that is the perfect opportunity for Pep to step in, and we'll get a little Pep step. That's
step.
Yeah. To see?
Is you take Pep Guardiola because he's one of the greatest coaches ever. Maybe the greatest coach ever.
Yeah. As for LAFC though, I would be shocked if they weren't looking at Jim Curtin.
Matt, who would you like to see LAFC have as their coach?
Jim Curtin makes so much sense.
It's crazy he's still not with the team
Tata
right
Martino.
now. That would make me
if they want to throw
really
away
annoyed.
Their defense.
That's real. Like we can't pretend like that's not a name.
You know what? You know what I would say? I would say if Cherundolo was fired mid-season, they would probably hire Martino. I think because it's
that is definitely something.
I think Cherundolo is actually getting a final season. I think Jim Curtin is likely. I mean, because it feels silly to call it like a rebuild for LAFC. But they've been in this one identity for so long. I think Jim Curtin is the perfect guy to kind of usher in a new era of LAFC.
Yeah. I mean, also, when you know that this is coming for as long as LAFC is going to know it's coming, I feel like you would want to bring this person in the building sooner rather than later. Make the transition as seamless as possible.
Why not?
So I would not be surprised if, one, they bring the person who's going to end up coaching the team into the building in short order, or if they're already in the building. And this is like a unknown, like
that would be wild if like with this announcement, because it seems like they have a pretty good relationship with Steve Cherundolo, since the ownership isn't changing, the GM isn't changing. They're still going to continue doing what there's still so many rumors about LAFC bringing in expensive players. Like, we'll see if Griezmann actually shows up.
That would upset me.
Yeah, that would be upsetting, but not as much.
Because that's another guy.
Idea to
Griezmann goes to New York like every summer. Like every summer, I see posts on Instagram like Antoine Griezmann spotted in New York.
Stop trying to make Griezmann to NYCFC happen, Ethan. Stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen. This isn't fetch.
This is a real thing. This
is not going to happen.
It's less of a real thing than LAFC. Although I did think that rumor got shut down recently by something.
It would be crazy though if it would be crazy though that with the relationship, if they fired Cherundolo.
I don't mean fire.
To bring in a new coach, but wouldn't they have to fire him to bring in a new coach?
I think it totally depends. I think that's a conversation you have. I think it's difficult to have both a coach, your current coach, and then your new coach in the locker room at the same time. But
you can't do that. You can't have them in the same.
I think you could. LAFC training ground.
No, I don't think you can do that. I think it's like the players don't know who to look at. Like fire, let go. Like if you find the person and they're able to start now, like you bring them in and you say bye. Like you want someone who's committed to the team. Like yes, he's like, oh, I'm committed for this year. Like still, if you find someone who's better, who's committed to the team, start now. Like because it's not a rebuilding team. Most of the same pieces are still going to be here. All right, let's move on from this topic, and we're going to talk about the U.S.'s Gold Cup group. First off, Gold Cup should not be in the U.S. this year. It is in the U.S. every year, and no one cares about it because it is the same tournament every year, and it's designed. If it's going to be in the U.S. every year, then the U.S. should be in Group A every year. We should be in the first game. That's how tournaments work. Host country should be hosting the game. Instead, they've designed it. Mexico is Mexico is the first team in Group A, and U.S. is the first team in Group D. And it's designed this way so that we can get USA versus Mexico in the final. That's what they're hoping for. That would generate the most money, but Gold Cup is stupid. Anyway, the group for the U.S. in Group D is Saudi Arabia, who is one of the guest teams for this year's tournament, because the Gold Cup is so boring. We have to invite teams from the Middle East to pay Concacaf money to be in the tournament. So Saudi Arabia will play in our group along with Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago. They've said that the report is that this year's Gold Cup is going to be a first team. It's not going to be MLS guys. I think this is the only thing that's good about the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I can definitely see why Pochettino, with such limited time, would want a tournament with the first team. So for this group stage, if we do not win all 3 games, I want Pochettino fired. That's it. 9 points in this group, or he is fired. What about?
That is not an overreaction, Matt. What are your thoughts to the group?
It's a really easy group, but that is an overreaction.
What about 6 or 7 points?
No, the alternative doesn't make any sense. Explain to me the scenario where we fire Poch, and then what that looks like.
Get Greg back?
It's not clearly
buy him out of his Chicago contract. Look, I'm unhappy with Poch too. I'm surprised that as a Spurs fan, you're not a little more forgiving to the guy who sort of, gave you Spurs.
Yes,
Pochettino has not met expectations, but the solution of firing him this close to the World Cup doesn't make any sense to me. You made this decision.
Clearly, it's not. If you can't get 3 wins against these 3 teams, you don't deserve to coach the team. Like that. It's just that you have to win. You have to win these games. And you can say, "Oh, the manager's not on the field. Like, how much are they actually doing?" Like, it's clear. Like, changing the coach does affect mentality. It does change stuff. And you're not going to bench. You're not going to bench Pulisic. You're not like you have to do something drastic. It's not an overreaction.
I think it is. I just like I agree you have to win these 3 games, but like firing the best tactical mind you've ever had at the coach position for the USMNT, like because results aren't coming in the Gold Cup less than a year out, like from the World Cup. I just don't.
So the fact that you're disagreeing with this, Matt, means that you think we're going to lose to one of these 3 teams. So which one of these teams of Saudi Arabia, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago is going to beat us?
I believe we will beat all 3 of these teams. But
doesn't sound like it.
No, I just don't think that I don't think we need to be like I think the red button is the wrong answer, and I don't know if Pochettino's the wrong answer. That's what it is. Like, I know for a fact firing him is wrong, and I don't know for a fact that keeping him is wrong.
That's life. Okay, Ethan, life lives in these gray areas.
Ethan, what do you think, Ethan? Which one of these teams is most likely to beat us?
I don't know. I'm getting a feeling about Haiti. I feel like they could
definitely Saudi Arabia.
You think Saudi?
I was going to say Trinidad.
Well, hey, look at that.
That's funny.
That's why we have 3 hosts. You get 3 different opinions at you every week.
Maybe all 3. Maybe we lose all 3. Now, with that, if we lose to all 3, pull the plug.
Yeah, if we lose all 3 games, just go to the next generation of players.
Yeah, to be honest, if we lose all 3 games, just forfeit. Like, don't play in the World Cup. It's not worth it.
If we miss what if we don't get it out? If we don't get out of the group, how about that?
We're not going to get grouped, and if we do, then sure, fire.
Then you have to sure. Berhalter got grouped to Copa America. Like if you get grouped in this group, then like he's got to be gone.
I still don't like it. I don't like the. I just don't know what the answer is after that.
The answer is buying Mourinho out of whatever contract he's on.
No, I'll get behind that.
Matt, who do you think should be the captain of the U.S. men's national team? Because there's been a lot of talk that Christian Pulisic is not the person who should be wearing the captain armband, and neither should Tyler Adams. Who would you have wear the armband?
I think we had this conversation. I said Jedi. I like Jedi.
Oh, right. Yeah. I also like Jedi for it. I've thought this way for years that Pulisic should not be the captain. I hate it when teams just give their best player the armband. It's not, being the greatest or best player, it's not necessarily equal to being the greatest or best leader. And we see that with guys like Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. We see it with these guys all the time, and it's incredibly frustrating.
One thing that will be interesting for the Gold Cup is we will see if Matt Freese gets to play with the team, or if he.
There's your captain.
Yeah, no, he should not be. Matt Freese should not be the captain. But if he gets some playing time in this game, would make sense. He's the American who's playing the best right now. Would make a lot of sense. People are making a lot out of the U.S. Goalkeeper coach being in attendance for the Minnesota NYCFC game 2 weeks ago, and I don't why people should need to stop making that a big deal, because it's like no duh, he should be there. Like it's like so obvious that Matt Freese is one of the best American goalkeepers. Like this should not be news. Like the news is that we haven't played Matt Freese enough. All right. Moving on to the news that happened in the U.S. Open Cup this past week. The Tacoma Defiance are still alive. We've taken down Oakland's only remaining sports team in the Oakland Roots. Beat them 2-1. Former Ballard FC player Peter Kingston scoring a really, really nice free kick, which helped the Defiance beat the Roots, and it was a really bad giveaway for in extra time, which had the Defiance take a 2-1 lead. So the Defiance have advanced, and the Defiance in the next round will host the Portland Timbers, the full-on MLS side. So this is going to be fun. Saw some of the Sounders players talk. Paul Rothrock was asked if he was envious of the Defiance getting to play the Timbers, and he was pretty cool about it. He said like they've earned it, but he definitely seemed a little jealous. But I plan to be at that game to see the Defiance. If the Defiance knock off the first, and it will be interesting to see who the Timbers start. But that would be quite the story if the Defiance can't get a result against the Timbers. The last amateur side, the Mexican restaurant El oh my God, I'm failing at saying their name. Farolito. The last amateur side, and because they were the last amateur side, they get $50,000, which is not nothing. Good, nice payday. They were eliminated by Sacramento Republic of the USL Championship. So no more amateur sides are in the tournaments, unfortunately. And then for the next round of the US Open Cup, this is when Nashville and NYCFC will enter the tournament. Nashville will be playing another Tennessee team in the Chattanooga Red Wolves. I love this team's logo. I love their name. In general, Matt, what are your thoughts on this Tennessee matchup in the U.S. Open Cup? Do you know where the Red Wolves play, or is it how close to Geodis is it?
Not Chattanooga. I mean, well, Tennessee is not huge, so kind of close, but Chattanooga is like 3 hours away, and this isn't quite in Chattanooga. There is actually a USL Chattanooga team that's different than this. And yeah, I like the logo, but we're gonna have to put a dog down. You know?
Oh my God, Matt!
Locked and loaded.
Yeah,
Episode title.
They're screwed. I've been like watching like a random account for this team beef with a Nashville SC account like all week on Twitter, and I've loved every second of it.
Any good highlights about what are they beefing about?
I don't know. They're just like one of them like Nashville is like the most us against the world mentality I've ever seen. Like no one cares as much as you do. And then he's like F you. And then by the way, it leaked over to Seattle. He said literally like mid conversation because there's this game today with Seattle that we'll get to later. He was like,
yeah, we'll get to that.
The Nashville fan was like F everything in Seattle except for grunge rock.
Fair.
This is just a Twitter exchange I've enjoyed this week. But yeah, Nashville's going to beat the crap out of this team.
All right, so that game's coming up. The next round coming up. It comes up in 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks we'll see NYCFC playing the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who I think their full name is still the Riverhounds, but they also sometimes just go as the Hounds FC. You guys have played them before, Ethan.
We have?
I think so. I feel like you played them in the tournament before, or maybe not.
I don't have memory of playing against them. I could be wrong.
Anyway? Any thoughts on this?
I know absolutely nothing about them. I like Pittsburgh. Shout out Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pitt. I haven't watched it yet, but
I hear it's great.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Is it based in Pittsburgh? I don't think so.
It is, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is. It's in Pittsburgh. Oh my God. This is the second time this is happening to me. It's in Pittsburgh. And it's called the Pit with 2 T's because of Pittsburgh.
Oh, it would just be called the Pit with 1 T if it was based anywhere else?
Yeah.
I see.
I thought it was just called the Pit because of like...
I know, they call the emergency room the Pit. Yes, but it's in Pittsburgh, and that's why there's 2 T's. I had this conversation in a class.
I probably watched that show.
I know some of our emailers might not like me going on this tangent.
Yeah.
But... I shouldn't start beef with the only people who listen to this show.
Everyone email the show footballslife.wecb. Let us know if we should watch the Pit.
Yeah. I was in a class. I was in a class, and a girl sitting next to me said she was watching the Pit because my professor likes to ask us if we were watching anything. And this was when the show was like just starting out. So she talked about it a little bit, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that show takes place in Pittsburgh, right?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Whoa, I thought it took place in Pittsburgh." I guess I was wrong because it's the Pit with 2 T's, so I assumed Pittsburgh. She was like, "No, they just call it the Pit because they call the emergency room the Pit." But I knew it took place in Pittsburgh, and she made me look gaslighted. She gaslit me.
It was also filmed in Pittsburgh.
Cast. Yeah, I saw a promotional. I saw a promo for the show that showed that Yellow Bridge in Pittsburgh that I've been on. I forget what it's called. But yeah, she like
I've never been to Pittsburgh.
Aired me out in front of the class.
I've been to Pittsburgh. It's okay.
I was in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is a very all right city.
Like less than 24 hours.
Yeah, shots fired.
No, I mean it's fine. There's nothing special about it. It's just one of those middle America cities. It's like Cleveland.
It's not really middle America. kind of more.
I would
east.
like to go.
I know
to,
it's like headed towards New England, but I wouldn't say it's.
I'd like to go
It doesn't have a New
again.
England vibe.
One time because I'd like to go to the stadium formerly known as Heinz Field at some point. It's now Acrisure Stadium, but
I'm gonna go to PNC. That's PNC Park is the where the Pirates play.
I have no clue.
Is that
Not a real sport.
No, is that Philadelphia? I want to go. I'll go. I'll go
it's just
there.
soccer on ice.
Teams play.
That's definitely baseball.
Oh shit!
The Hounds actually have one of like.
It's the Penguins.
They do
the Penguins. That's the hockey team.
Yeah.
They
also not a real sport. Actually,
that
one is a real sport.
The nicest soccer venue. Like their soccer field is like right on the river.
Pittsburgh have a soccer field?
Yeah, where the Hounds play.
Oh.
With the team that you're about to play.
The one that you're playing.
That's bullshit. Why do they get a field?
It's gorgeous.
Why did we have to wait?
It's one of the
12 years.
It's one of the gorgeous ones. But yeah, so viewers, let us know what you think of the Pitt. If you've
I know my mom watches.
Email us about that. Don't email us about.
She stopped watching that show.
If you've played all the Last of Us games, don't email us about that. I've not played the games.
You shouldn't have said that. Now we're definitely going to get an email telling you what happens in The Last of Us 2.
All right, we're going to move on.
Apparently, they were approved for a third season, and there's no third game. So we're pulling a Game of Thrones, and we're going off IP at some point.
I think they're stretching out the second game a little more.
Oh, is that
what's
happening?
That's what I've heard them say.
This season is only 7 episodes, and the first season was 9.
Bring back 30 episode seasons of TV.
Yeah, what's up with this?
Amen. Amen to that.
7, 8, 9 episodes.
These are movies. These are extended movies.
Are lazy.
These are
honestly, that's how I'm feeling about the first season of White Lotus. I was watching it and I was like, why wasn't this just like a 2-hour movie? Why is this being stretched out over 6 fucking hours? There's not that much story.
I kind of like White Lotus.
No, the White Lotus is
perfect. I think White Lotus is actually probably about perfect length.
Yes.
Okay.
White Lotus is perfect.
I guess I'll take this opinion elsewhere, I guess.
I totally understand what
Mike White's name out of your goddamn mouth.
I love School of Rock. That's like a major childhood movie for me. It's part of the reason why I started playing music. Don't
make me go Will Smith with you on you.
I totally understand what you're saying about White Lotus. I just really enjoy watching a show about ridiculous people and hot people for that.
I understand that. And the people are ridiculous and hot. It's true.
And that's really the key to it. It's kind of, and then the location is beautiful.
It's weirdly peaceful.
Yes.
Even though there's a lot of murder involved.
And it gets family dynamics really right. You're like, wow, this is what it's like. This is the just absurd interactions where everyone is so in the wrong.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Concacaf Champions Cup. 2 weeks ago, we saw Miami take down LAFC. This might be one of the only times where you will hear me say I was rooting for LAFC. Because I can just do not want to live in the world where MLS has the power to talk about Miami winning Concacaf Champions Cup. Because if that happens, we're going to be hearing that Miami is the greatest MLS team ever, nonstop.
Probably true.
Honestly, what's frustrating is that conversation seems to happen anytime an MLS team wins a trophy these days. Anytime a single trophy is won, they're like, "Is this the best MLS team we've ever seen?" And it's tiresome.
So Miami got past LAFC. I would say in controversial fashion. Right before the goal, on the second goal that Miami scored, Miami Lionel Messi completely fouls an LAFC player like right on the sideline, but of course it's Messi, so he's not going to get called for it. And I think any other team, this should be getting looked at. So Miami advances, and they would play the winner of Vancouver and Pumas, which was very dramatic. Right at the end of the game, Pumas scored, and it looked like everything was going right for Pumas, Vancouver, right after, they always say, like, right after a goal is scored, it's the most dangerous time. You got to lock in, and Vancouver goes the other way, and it is Greg Berhalter's offspring himself who scores the goal that puts Vancouver into the Concacaf Champions Cup semifinals. Even with Pumas having CONCACAF's best player in Coco Carrasquilla, Pumas could not get past the Vancouver Whitecaps, who, Matt, are the Vancouver Whitecaps the best team in MLS right now?
I mean, they're just good. Like, they're not, like, we're not joking around anymore. This is a good team.
Yeah.
They play really exciting football. They play through the width. They possess well. This is a legitimately good MLS team.
Yeah, I'd be so I'm always saying, like, when the Sounders get eliminated from this competition, like, I root for Mexico. I don't root for the MLS teams, but I'm legitimately rooting for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Even like them being in Cascadia, like, if they win this tournament, I will be happy. I will think. I think that's really good for it. I mean, it will be good for MLS if they win. It's great if they win over Miami. MLS will be pissed. Like, it's very clear who MLS is rooting for. Like, MLS is very happy that they will have an MLS team in the final because it will be Vancouver versus Miami. But we know who MLS is rooting for. Canada needs a win right now. Like, let Canada. Like, I would be very happy for Canada to get to rule North America right now. That would just be great. And it's also fun that we're seeing the two MLS teams that are the farthest apart are playing each other, which is interesting. We'll see if be interesting to see if we get 60,000 people in Vancouver for that game, which is next week. The first game is going to be in Vancouver. Second leg will be in Miami. Ethan, any predictions for this matchup, or what are you hoping for?
Red cards? I don't know. I mean, I guess go Vancouver, that's as long as it's not Miami.
What about you, Matt? What are you hoping for in this game?
I'd love to see a good game. I always like to see Messi play well, but I like when Messi plays well and the other team rises to the occasion and beats him. That's always fun.
Yeah, hopefully Brian White can keep scoring. Just scored 4 games.
What did he get? Like
goals
4 the other day?
That was bullshit.
Love that for Team Nat. Was huge. Hopefully he can keep that up. Those 4 goals are a large part of why me and Ethan are tied right now, but
not anymore. Actually, I just noticed a discrepancy. Yes, I noticed an error in the scores, and I fixed it. It sounds so suspicious. You had Alonso Martinez at 4 goals, but he's got 5.
Uh-oh. Maybe I have like 30 goals.
I did actually. I noticed Diego Rossi was at 2 or 3, I think, but he's got 5 now. So I updated.
Oh yeah, where are the stats?
I just went to MLS.com.
I think that might include non-MLS goals.
Yeah.
Would they include that on MLS.com though?
Maybe.
But
I don't mean to. I'm not accusing you, Matt.
I think Diego Rossi did. So Columbus was in. Diego Rossi was in Concacaf Champions Cup. So
I'm more than happy to be wrong here.
I think Diego Rossi is. Wait, Diego Rossi was at 3 or he was at 4?
It was 2 or 3, I think.
He's listed at 5.
All right, I will check this after this. I thought I'm doing good. I'm not sure. I thought because I really thought I was accurate on this. And NYCFC, obviously, they're not in another competition right now, so
yeah,
not sure how I would have missed a goal. But anyway, I will still be. Yeah. It's anyway. All of this isn't going to matter since I'm just still going to win. So we'll just move past that.
Yeah, well, you're definitely winning the game of the week right now.
Yeah. So Miami versus Vancouver is one semifinal. Cruz Azul versus Tigres is the other. I did not see Cruz Azul taking down Club America. I thought for sure Club America was going to win this whole tournament. That is shocking. Anyone but Miami. Like, it's that simple. Anyone but Miami is what I'm rooting for. I will take, if Cruz Azul wins, then it's like, great, Sounders lost to the team who won. If Tigres wins, it's like, yep, Tigres is really good. If Vancouver wins, then I'm happy. All right, so we'll see what happens in CCC. Should be some good games. One of the last news before we get into MLS news is it has been confirmed now that we will have a playoff between Club America and LAFC for Club Leon's spot in the Club World Cup. That is going to happen. It's or 90% that is going to happen if Leon doesn't win their appeal. Doesn't win their appeal. I don't think they're going. It seems like they're not going to win. So it seems like this playoff is going to happen. What are your thoughts on we've talked about this the playoff idea happening a little bit. Matt, do you think LAFC can take down Club America?
No, probably not.
Ethan, what about you?
I'll piggyback Matt's opinion there.
Who would you like to see LAFC in this tournament, or are you happy that America will oust another MLS team?
I don't know, to be honest. I guess maybe I don't feel enough MLS pride to, have LAFC, show up for us in this situation. I like that they are playing a playoff game, though. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. I don't want LAFC to be in the tournament because I don't want them to steal coverage of MLS in the Club World Cup as much as, like, right now, Inter Miami is already going to get way more covered than the Sounders, even though I think it's more likely that the Sounders could get a more impressive win. I think Inter Miami has a way easier group than the Sounders do. But that being said, with the Club World Cup and we not knowing how much these teams are going to take this tournament seriously, I think it's very possible that the Sounders could get a shocking win against PSG or Atletico Madrid. And with that, if we have LAFC in the tournament, that will get talked about less. So because of that, I would like Club America to take the spot. And that would also, and again, like, Concacaf and FIFA would like that a lot more because they're going to sell a lot more tickets if Club America is in the tournament. All right. Moving on to what happened with our teams in MLS the last 2 weeks. Let's talk about the Sounders first. We're gonna just breeze right past the Sounders game for 2 weeks. No one cares about that game. That game was this game had one of the worst stretches in Sounders history. Just every Sounders falling asleep, and Sounders because for some reason, whenever we play against Anibal Godoy, he becomes prime Messi and starts scoring.
He's pretty good.
But he doesn't usually score.
No, he's very slow.
And we
hilariously slow.
Let people be reminded that Chucky Lozano actually plays for San Diego, because before I wasn't even sure that he was there. He wasn't doing anything. Unfortunately, we had to remind people of that.
Nice. Did you get it?
Sorry. No, I didn't get it. I feel like I was close, though.
So that game, moving right past that. Then Sounders went to Dallas, and here we did wake up. There was a chance that Jordan Morris was going to start this game. Seemed like he was ready to start, but Sounders ended up starting Danny Musovski, and the Moose gets loose after Pedro de la Vega puts a shot off the post. Musovski is onside, puts it in past the very good FC Dallas keeper from Indonesia. And Sounders would then hold that lead. Musovski scored again later so that first goal was checked to see if he was offside, and he was clearly on. But Musovski scored again, and it was the same thing. De La Vega hit the other post, and Musovski was also there to put it in the back of the net, and they called this offsides. And this one, the goalkeeper was allowed to restart the play very fast. Obviously, the angle that we see is not exactly down the line, but there's this also looks onside to me. So obviously the Sounders had lots of chances in this game, and we definitely played way better in this. So this was huge, just a huge morale boost for the Sounders. But that should have counted. And it was really good to see Musovski find the back of the net, because he has not been good recently. But it was good to see someone score for the Sounders. And the other news was that we saw Kim Ki-hee. He came in after Jackson Reagan went out with an injury. And now Jackson Reagan will be out for 4 to 5 weeks. So Brian Smetzer has the very difficult decision on who's gonna step in between Jonathan Bell, who's been really good, and Kim Ki-hee, who is also very good. Now let's talk about NYCFC. It's 2 games. Ethan, take us through the 2 NYCFC games.
Yeah, this first game against Minnesota, kind of like your game against San Diego, but nowhere near as bad. Don't really want to talk about this one much. Just an incredibly frustrating game. Minnesota showed up. NYCFC kind of didn't. Obviously, one of the big talking points of this game, or one of the 2 big talking points of this game, is whether or not Minnesota's goals were offside. without a doubt, I think the first goal is very clearly offside to me.
No.
The second goal is more dubious. You know, you're trying to measure the impact of a player on a goalkeeper and whatnot. So it's fine with that one standing, but it is dubious.
They're both offsides.
And then there is the penalty call, which I do think was a penalty. I think the VAR check going on for as long as it did is absolutely horrendous. I think it was a big reason or a big part of the reason why Alonso Martinez missed that penalty. And if he scores that penalty, it is an entirely different game, going in 2-1 at halftime instead of the fly just flew right on my computer screen. I almost whacked the shit out of my computer. Yeah, so incredibly frustrating game. I will say though, Nat was texting me about the game, and then at one point towards the end, he said, "I have to go, so I'm going to stop watching. Maybe it'll help you guys." And then a minute later, we scored that goal to make it 2-1. And you know what? I was watching the San Diego game too, so maybe that was my fault as well. And maybe we should both just never watch each other's games, and we'll do well.
All right. Yeah. There we go.
Deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tim Ford was the VAR for this game, and we've already learned that he's blind. So the fact this is not clear and obvious on the penalty, and I think it's a penalty, but you can't. It's definitely not clear and obvious, so they can't change that. The offsides, both of them are onsides. Like the first one is onsides. It's not close. He's in line. It's running in line the entire time. And the second one, same thing. Like, it's onsides. Let's talk about the second game, Ethan. NYCFC against Philadelphia.
Yeah, oddly enough, this is the game I was more kind of worried about going into the two game going into the last weekend. And this game was pretty great as an NYCFC fan. I mean, it ended it was 1-0. Yeah, and it was just a very solid outing. Philadelphia felt like never really had that big of a chance. We played good defense, played good offense. Alonso Martinez gets another goal. Great pass from Micha Elenic, who I think has really stepped up this year. I've had many issues with his defensive output in the past, but I think this year he's turned into an overall all-around solid player. And yeah, it's been great to see this sort of transformation from him. Yeah, very, very good showing from NYCFC, I thought. Much better than against Minnesota, especially at home.
Yeah, let's talk about Nashville. Now, in Nashville's last two games, Nashville's first one was against Charlotte, and then their second one was against RSL. Take us through these ones.
Yeah, so Charlotte has turned into a very good team. They're the second team right now in the East. Nashville visit them away. And I think they put up a really, really dominant performance in the first half and in the beginning of the second half. And then the story of this game, in my opinion, is that there's a cross that's put in, and a Charlotte attacker goes to attempt a bicycle kick. Walker Zimmerman tries to head the ball out of the box, and he takes the blunt of that kick to the face. There's no wrongdoing. There's no malintent whatsoever, but Walker Zimmerman is knocked out cold on the field. They immediately call for medical attention. You can look this up if you want, but it's a scary video. Everyone is okay. Walker's okay. He's still in concussion protocol. He's getting out of it, but he was knocked out cold, taken to the local hospital, and first and foremost, happy he's all right. And then secondly, this totally took the wind out of Nashville's sails. And from there, Charlotte puts in 2 goals and wins. So I don't know if much can be gleaned from this play-wise. Walker's important to the team. Seeing your captain, like, worrying about your captain's health is going to have a detrimental effect on the team. And so this was I don't know if much soccer can be taken away from this one, besides the fact that Nashville were really good in the beginning. And Charlotte get 3 points, which they continue to do.
And then the second one.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one, Nashville host RSL. RSL score first, continuing what is a combined pretty frustrating 2 halves, the back half of the Charlotte game and the first half of the RSL game for Nashville fans. And from that point, like basically the second the RSL goal went in, they had totally deserved it. They had been attacking for like 12 minutes, which is I think when they score. Nashville dominate the rest of that game dramatically, and they get the result in a 90th minute PK, which Sam Surge looks like is now our PK taker because Hani's been so bad at them.
Hani had to hand him the ball. Like I think they were still assuming that it was Mukhtar at first.
Yeah, well, regardless of the showmanship of it, Surge is our PK taker. Hani's 1 for 3, which is just not not a rate you can. And I know it's like a tiny sample size, but the PKs weren't good either. So Surge takes it. Surge makes it. Nashville get a result. They had lost 2 straight in games that it felt like they had outplayed their opponent. So this one was needed, I think. You can't keep outplaying your opponent and losing. That has a adverse effect on fans, on players. And I trust the process, and I do trust the process because this is the best soccer Nashville played. But you can only watch so many games where you're like, oh, we should have had it before you're like, should we have had it?
Mm-hmm.
So on our last show, we said for all of our teams, we said like for these 3 games that were coming up, since this was before the game that we did, we said like for these next games, like how many points should we be expected to get? And for all of these, we were like 4, like we should be getting 4 points. The Sounders are the only team who got 4. The Sounders on what our 3 road games, we got 4 points. NYCFC in their last 3 games got 3 points. And so did Nashville with 3 points. So take that.
I think if Walker doesn't get injured, Nashville gets 6.
So let's get into the games coming up today. First, NYCFC at New England. Ethan, will you be back at Gillette for this?
You know, I thought about it, but it seems unlikely at this point. So
fake fan.
Wow.
Fake fan.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
How are you feeling about going up against Caleb Porter?
You know, not too bad. I mean, New England are struggling, but
they're
they
in
are
12th place right now.
Yeah, but I think they are somewhat on the up. Like they've had some better games as of late. So you never know what's going to happen, but I think we should get a result here.
Their wins have came via the penalty spot from Carlos Hill scoring from the penalty spot. That's how they have gotten results so far. But the game that this show is caring about a lot today is Nashville versus Seattle. And I have to say, for every Seattle-Nashville game, I'm always surprised. Like, I have to always remind myself that, like when I'm looking at the schedule, I'll be like, why isn't the Seattle-Nashville game like the game of the week or like MLS Soccer Sunday? And it's because like the majority of MLS, like these teams have no actual beef outside of our show. Like for most fan bases, it's just a random Western Conference team versus an Eastern Conference team facing each other. So I find that it is funny that way. And we look at so this will be the 4th all-time meeting between the clubs. It's not in the Sounders' favor.
Yeah, Nashville kind of has Seattle's number, but that was Gary.
The only time the Nashville has been to Seattle once, it was when they opened the season here in Seattle in 2021, and Nashville won 1-0. It was Anibal Godoy who scored the goal on that. Then the Sounders would lose in Nashville later that year, because that year in 2021, Nashville was in the Western Conference, if you remember.
That's
so we
right.
played them twice that year. We lost. We lost that game 1-0. Even though knew who should have scored in that game. If it was not for,
was that off the post or was that that was a really good Willis save, right?
Yes, it was Willis making the save of the year, one of the best saves in MLS history to deny knew who from scoring. This save is just so cracked.
It's legitimately incredible. I remember
it's
it.
So
it was
insane.
So fun.
That is a great save.
It is so insane. And then the Sounders played. We played Nashville again in Nashville in 2023, and this one finished 0-0. Though there was a goal that was scored, it was called back. Do you know who scored that goal? Ethan, do you know who scored that goal?
No, I don't think so.
It's Nuhu or Godoy, I think.
That got called back?
I don't know.
This goal did not count. It was called back. It was Hey Bear. It was the mother himself who got called, and he was
God,
offside.
I forgot he was on Seattle for a second.
It was the correct call. He was offsides. That's the history of this matchup. I'm very excited for this game today. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really fun game of soccer. I'm very excited to get to see Kasim in person. I think Matt, he's traveling. He should be there.
He should be.
Correct?
Yeah, he's really good. He's good on the ball. He's fast. He's strong.
Yeah, we might get to see. I mean, I'm scared about Schaffelberg and Kasim, but we should.
Walker is officially unavailable for this game.
So both of our big center backs are out because no Walker Zimmerman, no Jackson Reagan. So it'll be interesting to see if the Sounders start Kimke here, or if they start Bell. Maybe they start both. Probably unlikely, because if we're playing three in the back, then Nuhu's probably one of those center backs. But Ethan, what do you expect from this game?
I expect high competition. These are two strong teams. I mean physically. I feel like both teams have pretty physically heightened players. And yeah, really it's just competition. Two fast teams, both have some fast wingers, slow strikers, they feel similar in a way. So I think it'll just be a nice, fun game. What time is it? Eastern time.
It is at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
Okay.
It is a weird start time for
right.
It is a weird start time for a West Coast game. 4:30 is not normal.
I will probably be watching the NYCFC game though. Which reminds me, actually,
you got two screens. You got a phone out.
We were on the way back from Gillette in the Uber when you saw Nuhu's first.
Yes, Nuhu's
goal.
First goal against Houston. Because I know how to double screen it. How to watch.
Hey,
to watch something.
That was pretty funny, actually. We were at a stadium watching a soccer game, and then you also had the Seattle game on your phone. That was good.
Because I'm a real fan, unlike this guy.
Oh, you could have gone to Houston. Talking about, fake fan. Why don't you go to Houston, huh? Why don't you go to Texas?
I
could have gone to Seattle. I was actually really close to going to Seattle.
He should have been here.
So we're all fake fans. We're all pieces of shit.
Instead, Matt's just gonna have to see the Sounders beat Atletico Madrid or PSG.
Dude, PSG could win the Champions League. Yeah. You're not beating PSG.
Watch it happen.
We'll
it's gonna happen
for sure.
It's gonna happen. It seems less likely that Ryan Kent is going to make an appearance. It's possible he could be on the bench, but while it seemed like he has been training a lot, Spencer seemed more hesitant. But I don't know. We could still see him on the bench. We will see. Matt, any final thoughts about this matchup? I think this is the time that Nashville's reign ends.
So Nashville this year, and I don't think this should be controversial, are the better team so far.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, but only because we haven't been playing that well.
The reporters, well, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the reporters are, or a reporter this week asked BJ Callahan if he would ever consider playing more conservatively on the road, and he responded with like a really good, like he was like, "That goes against everything I'm trying to build here." Like, so BJ Callahan has no interest in playing conservatively on the road. So Nashville are going to come out. They're going to go for a win. I think they're the better team. I think they will probably win. But Seattle are full of quality and at home and have a good fan base. So
I think you're coming in. I think you're coming to Seattle on a really bad time.
Yeah,
I think we're feeling good after this DC game. We're getting people back. While we might not have Ryan Kent back, we're going to have Morris back today. And Morris was firing at the beginning of the season. Hopefully he picks up right where he left off.
Morris back. I thought you said more respect. I was like,
nice.
More respect.
Ethan, as the third party here, before you go, what do we have?
Where is this game again? Oh, it's at Geodis.
No.
Then why is it at 7:30? Why isn't it at 10:30 like the game, like the Seattle games usually are?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say? This is going to be a tie. I think we're gonna see like a 1-1 tie.
That's so boring. That's so non-committal.
Yeah.
If you you predicted a tie, if you had to pick a winner.
Nashville. I'll say Nashville.
Nice.
But Seattle at home, you never know. Like,
all right, guys. So this is the Nat and Matt show now. Ethan is no longer on the show after that remark.
Hey,
Ethan does have to go, so we could.
I do have to
do we have any quick closing topics?
That I did that.
Yeah.
But
all right. We got to make our game of the week picks very quickly here. Game of the week this week is Miami at Columbus, and I have to point out I just learned this. Looking at MLS.com, Columbus no longer plays at lower.com field. It is called Huntington Bank Field.
I'm gonna keep calling it lower.com.
Yeah, bring back lower.com.
And I'm gonna pick the lower.com team actually.
All right,
give me the worst team. What's your prediction, Nat? The non-playoff Columbus Crew?
Yes.
Give me the non-playoff Columbus Crew here.
This one's tough.
Matt trying to avoid going 9-0.
0-9 or whatever it is.
0-9.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I hate doing it, but I'm gonna go with Miami.
And I hate doing it, except that I don't hate doing it. I'm picking a tie.
Yep.
Hopefully I'll keep my lead. Our next show is going to be on Sunday, so we need a game of the week. For that week, it is Montreal at Red Bulls. I'm going to pick the Red Bulls.
Are these like the two worst teams in the East right now? Montreal and then Red Bulls are
kind of mid, right?
Oh, no, I'm going to pick the Red Bulls.
Red Bulls are 9 and Montreal are 15th.
Yeah, you pick the worst team in the East.
I cannot pick the Red Bulls, so let's go Montreal. I'll forfeit this pick. I don't care. Let's go Montreal. Or Montreal, supposedly as Montreal. They pronounce it there.
Montreal could surprise. Who are you picking, Matt?
Red Bulls.
All right. That will be its best. If Matt after next week is at 0-10,
that would be electric.
Honestly would at that point, Matt, just like I would respect you if you just try to get 0.
That would be awesome.
That would be honestly very impressive. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Football is Life. We will see you next
hour 10, not bad.
Sunday on April 27th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Remember to send us your questions at footballislife.wecb. No spoilers for Last of Us.
Or the Pit.
Or send us questions at footballislife.net. Send us. You can also contact us on Twitter at WECB Football. All's there. Subscribe here on YouTube, Football's Life WECB, and on Instagram at footballslife.wecb. Until next week,
Football is life.